Hello, welcome to the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. My name is Rose, and today we have another Kumihimo technique. Now please never limit yourself with Kumihimo. Here's what we're making today, but don't limit yourself to this color, or how about this, chain instead of cord. Any kind of fiber can work. You could use ribbon, you can use leather. Go crazy, there's so much experimenting you can do with Kumihimo. We're gonna start with this project. I'm going to use this inexpensive plated gold chain, and I need 2 4-foot lengths, which I've already cut, and I also need 2 4-foot lengths of the green cord. I'm going to do it green instead of purple for our video. So I'm just going to use my chain that I have here as a template to get a 4-foot piece of cord. And of course, this is 8-strand Kumihimo, which means I need 8 strands. Well, if you've been listening, you've only heard 4 strands. That's because I'm going to fold them in half. When I fold them in half, then I will have 8 strands. There we go. So I'll put my 8 strands together. I've got 1 chain, 2 chains, and 2 pieces of green cord. Let's make those nice and friends, and I'm going to fold those in half. Find my midpoint. Here's my midpoint, and we're going to connect these all together with a bit of wire. Okay, so I take myself a piece of wire, about 5 or 6 inches. Save my wire somehow. Make a 90-degree bend. Make a loop. And then put that get my cords into that loop. My cord and my chain right at its midpoint. Into the loop to hold it. Now I'll finish the loop by folding this end down and wrap the loop. And this doesn't really matter if it's pretty or not, I just want it secure. Because I'm going to hide that loop underneath a bead cap. This bead cap has a fairly large hole in it, and so I found that my little wrap tends to go through the hole. So to make sure it's secure, I'm going to put a 4mm Hishi bead first. And that's going to be on the inside of the bead cap to make sure it holds its position in there. And then, just for prettiness sake, I'm going to put a 5mm bead and then I'll make a wrap loop up here at the top. Now this one I want to look good, so I'm going to take a little time to do it right. I want to make my 90-degree bend as long as I want my stem. See that little stem? That's how many wraps I'm going to make. So I'll make my 90-degree bend. I make a loop, reposition the pliers, finish the loop, and then wrap the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. I count because it's really nice to make a very professional finish to have the same number of loops on one end as on the other end. It's okay if you're just doing this as a hobby and making for family and friends, but if you want to be professional about it, you want the same number of loops everywhere you make loops. And there, the end of this Kumihimo section is basically done. Now we'll do the fun part. Kumihimo, here we go. Put the center down here in the middle. And I want to make a nice spiral with chain and with cord. So I'm going to pair up my cords. I'll put 2 cords at the top. I'll put 2 cords at the bottom. I'll put the chains to the sides. Oh, don't you tangle up on me, you chains. You stop that. Arr. There we go. My chains go off to the sides. There we go. Now we can start the Kumihimo. The same basic 8-step Kumihimo that we have several videos of. And you can start from the top, you can start from the bottom, you can start right or left, just as long as you're consistent. I'm going to start from the top right down to the bottom right. Then I'll go bottom left, top left. I'm rotating clockwise. Doesn't matter which direction you go as long as you're consistent. Top right, bottom right. Bottom left, top left. Rotate. Top, bottom, bottom, top. Rotate. This is very zen, very relaxing. But I do like to point out the nice little tip. If you do need to get up and go take care of the dog that's howling or chase a possum off your deck, always a good place to stop is when you've got 3 cords in one point, because now you'll know where to come back to. At this point, we have to push one of those 3 cords up there to make our balanced pairs. Keep going. Keep rotating. Once in a while, straighten out your cords. Most of the time I'm doing bracelets, and a cord getting tangled is not usually an issue. And you can also use huggy spools to tie up all those cords for you. Personally, I prefer to let them just dangle. I've never had a real problem with it, even with really long projects. Oops, I said I have to be consistent. Top down, there we go. I almost forgot what I was doing. Top down. And you can see our pattern is starting to form. Let's see if we can get enough there for the camera to see for you. Top down, bottom up. It's a great craft for kids too. There's no reason you have to be an adult to do this. Nice and relaxing. Maybe the children that have some attention problems would be a good thing for them to practice on. You can do it while you're sitting watching TV. Very fun. Very meditative. Let's see how we're doing. You can see the pattern is starting to form. We're getting that nice green and gold spiral with chain and cord. Looks great. Okay, we got a lot of work to go yet, so I'm just gonna keep plugging away. And we're back. Look what I did while you were gone. That's how far I've gotten. Let's do the finishing part of this now. So here we go, the last little bits. Now I'm going to embed a head pin in there by picking up a head pin and putting the head of it down inside the core of this, and then weaving a little bit around the head pin to make sure it stays in place. So I'm going to do several passes trying to make this nice and tight so it holds that head pin in. Okay, keep on weaving. Weave that head pin in nice and tight. Same pattern, top to bottom, bottom to top. I'm being extra careful to make it nice and tight. And I'll actually probably weave a little bit too much so I have enough room to tie onto my braid. couple more, just to feel secure. I've got cord left, so why not use it? Okay, I am content with that. So now I want to tie this off here at the neck. And I'm going to use just a little bit of thread. This happens to be Nymo thread. Any strong, sturdy thread will work. I'm going to tie this very tight, so I don't want to use probably sewing thread because it's not quite strong enough to take the tension that this Nymo can take. I just made a little loop. Go over the cord that I've created. Slide that all the way down here to the neck and tighten it. Now I've got that loose little thing on there. I'm just going to take this off the disc. Now I'm going to get more aggressive with this Nymo cord and making sure it's holding my head pin in there very tight. So I'm going to wrap this around several times. Hold on to that tail. I'm going to wrap this tail around. Nice and tight. You can see my fingernails turning white as I pull on that really hard because I really want that tight so that that head pin cannot come out. Nothing more frustrating than having your jewelry fall apart on you when you've just given it to a friend. There you go. And then I'll tie it with a knot. Any kind of suitable knot will do. Just using a granny knot. Then I'll back that up with a surgeon's knot. And then I'm going to nip off all this excess stuff. And I like to do this one at a time. Less likely that I'm going to nip off something I didn't want to nip off. Have you ever done that? Working on some nice little weaving project and nip off the thread you needed. Come on. All right, if you don't want to be cut, I'll cut you. And I can cut off these extra little bits of Nymo as well. Don't need those. Go. And just for my sense of security, that little bit of extra security, I like to glue the ends of these. And I'm going to use a little bit of this Fraylock. It's a great product by E6000. And I'll just use a toothpick. Just make sure I got the Nymo knot tied in. Oh, look at that. I missed the whole cord. There we go. Go away. I don't need you. And this is all going to get covered by a bead cap, so it doesn't have to be neat and tidy. I just like it secure. Well, that one's lived a life, hasn't it? Okay, just like the other end, I'll put a little Hishi bead on there. I'll put the bead cap on there. I'll put a 5mm bead. And then I'm going to make a wrap loop, and I want the wrap loop on this other side to look the same as the first one I did. So I'm looking at how long a section of wrapping I want. And that's where I'll make my 90-degree bend. That looks good. make the loop, reposition my pliers, finish the loop, and wrap the loop. With the same number of wraps that I had on the other side for that professional look. There we go, and that's our length of Kumihimo. Now we want to put the chain to finish it and a clasp. So I've already cut a piece of chain here. This is about 8 inches, 9 inches, and I need a second piece. So I'll cut one the same length. I'm kind of particular about my chain. I've been known to actually count the links. Any of you out there do that? There we go. So I've got 2 lengths of chain. And I'm going to use this 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put that through the loop on the end of the chain. Looks like I've got a little bit of magnetism going. And on the other side, this is a fairly thin chain. It's not a very expensive chain. So for safety's sake, we're going to use a double length. There we go. And we can attach the clasp at this time. Now I normally use double jump rings, but this chain doesn't have room for a double jump ring. So I'm going to use 1 jump ring, but I'm going to make sure that baby is closed. I will wiggle that jump ring back and forth a few times until I can feel the ends touching each other, so that I know that that chain's not going to slip out through the gap in the jump ring. I hate that. So that's for one end of the chain. Grab another jump ring. Find the link that's in the center there. This link right here. Or you can just go through the chain if you like. I think maybe I'll do that. Just going to go straight through the loop in the chain so that it actually slides back and forth. Not a problem. And go right there. And close the jump ring very carefully. Make sure that thing is really closed. There we go. That's half of that. There we go. And same thing on the other side. And through the clasp. Make sure that's really closed. I can feel it. One more jump ring. Get my chain. Right through there, and close it. There we go. There is a completed necklace, as is. It's a beautiful necklace. You can shorten this if you like for the person you're making it for. But now we're going to talk about how you add the fringe. Next step, fringe. Okay, so we've finished a lovely necklace as it is, but now let's give it that extra bonus. Add this bit of fringe on here. You can make your fringe any way you want. It can be uniform, it can be irregular like this one. This is made with both silver and gold. Maybe you want to use copper. It's always your vision of how you want to make things. Okay, and remember all those scraps of chain we cut off at the end of that last step? This is where you get to use all that scrap of chain. I love to use the chain stay. This is used to like hold a bracelet while you're putting on charms, but I use it by putting a little eye pin into this little jaw, and it holds my chain while I cut sections of it. And it's a great fast way to make them either graduated chains, or you can make them into all uniform, the same length chains, whatever you want. But it's a great way to use up chain. It doesn't even have to be all the same chain. Maybe you've got lots of scrap chain, you want to go use it now. Okay, so I've got a bunch of lengths of chain in both silver and gold. I'm going to pick up my little 4-inch by 4mm, 4-inch, wouldn't that be nice? 4-inch head pin, 4-inch jump ring, 4mm jump ring. Open it, pick up a gold one, and put that last link on here. Pick up a silver one, put that link on there, and then I can pick any one of these loops of chain that are on here to attach that to. I want it to be hanging from the bottom somewhere, so I'll pick any old link and attach it in there. And close it. And we're going to keep on going with that. We have lots more links and lots more dangles to add to make it into a true fringe. Okay, this project still has a long way to go. I don't want to hold you back. For written instructions and more materials can be used in this project, just follow the link in the description below. Thanks for joining me. Happy beading.